I did a video about never letting someone overestimate their position in your life, and they will try to play in your face. And I want to respond to a commenter. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. This commenter says, I noticed some signs early on that I didn't take seriously at the time. They will disappear for short periods of time to make you chase them. They will reveal certain shady behaviors about themselves in an innocent way. They will sneak in certain critical judgments about you, but in a way that seems like they're just observations. This is so spot on. So I wanted to expand on this a little bit more. What people are trying to do when they engage in these certain behaviors, such as disappearing and making you chase them. So they're trying to invoke the runner-chaser dynamic. Is they're trying to create codependency there. You need me. We've built up a certain level of trust, connection, and you have gotten to a point where you felt like you could rely on me. And so now I'm going to shake things up a little bit to let you know that I am in control, or I am the authority in your life. And so I'm going to create the runner-chaser dynamic so that you could chase me and I could feel a sense of importance and entitlement over you. This person wants to appear to still be benevolent, though, and create the dynamic, maintain the dynamic that the two of you have. And so what they will do is they'll talk about you behind your back. They will lie. They will tell small white lies or about their actions, what they're doing and things like that, or they'll be very dismissive about it. And so, or they'll appear to be like overwhelmed, they're overwhelmed with like childcare or other things that appear to be benign to make you question whether or not, is maybe something isn't really happening the way that I thought it was happening. This is all by design. They want you to question your reality, and they also get off on knowing that they have duped you and tricked you to continue to stay in the relationship and continue to put up with the disrespect. Other things that people can do is that they can be forgetful, or they could just be so stressed out with things like this. So a good example of forgetfulness would be something that's important to you, like your birthday or a special event or things like that. Like I forgot, or I'm just so busy with work and I wasn't able to make time and space for you. But things continue to happen repetitively. These behaviors tend to increase over time to the point where they're not showing up for you at all. And you can't help but see it because it's so blatantly disrespectful. You're literally the only one doing work in the relationship. You're literally the only one who's telling the truth in the relationship. And they're kind of smiling in your face and they're making all these excuses, but really they're not showing up at all. A lot of times they could be having a different dynamic with you to your face, and then behind your back, they're going to be talking to other people behind your back. They're creating a smear campaign. They're giving a totally different narrative. They're lying about the things that they're doing for you. So a good example would be like if you're a successful person, I did that. They're the reason. I'm the reason that they're successful. So contributing, everything about you to themselves. And so they're exaggerating their sense of self-importance to everybody else. And they're really just, smutting up your name. They will also become your critic, right? And then it'll start to take a harsh tone or backhanded compliments, or the compliments will also just sort of die down altogether, and then they're just critical, negative, and hyper-focused on talking junk, and it'll be a sharp contrast to what you've known about them before. And if you're not careful, you can dismiss things to stress, to work, to family, right? Because that's how benign things seem. But again, all of these things start ratcheting up. And so it's something you have to be very self aware. Um, like the commenter was saying that, like, if you're busy or if you're overwhelmed or if things are happening in your life, you might not catch it early on, or you might not take it seriously, or you might dismiss it and say, well, they're just going through their stuff, and they'll come back around, and we have so much history together and things like that. Again, these are things that are by design. That person is intentionally sabotaging. That person is um, how they feel about you, that is turning into contempt. It's turning into resentment, and they are deliberately sabotaging the relationship, and that contempt and resentment is then turning into hatred. And I guarantee you, when this happens, there are other people that know how this person feels about you genuinely, but you're none the wiser. And so you definitely want to watch those actions as much as possible. And even if you miss it, you kind of want to cut it off. You want to cut off the head of that snake as soon as you see it, because once you see it and once it's set in, you can't really walk it back. There's nothing that you can do to recover that, because chances are that person doesn't really see themselves as having an issue. They attribute all of their problems to you, even if what they're saying is rational, and they appear to tell you that, hey, oh, I know I have a problem. Again, remember, a person that is a master of deception, and has resentment and contempt for you, they've been hiding it. So they have been lying to you. And so this is another lie that they will add on to that, while underneath the surface, a volcano is certainly brewing. So you want to be careful. And FYI, you are not the only person that this person has done it to or does it to. Chances are they have a history of showing up this way in a relationship. Their version of reality is very distorted, and they think they have twisted things in their mind to make your relationship with them something that it wasn't. They actually start to imagine or interpret things happening in a completely different way than what they did. They are setting it up for them to be unreliable to you. And they are setting it up to say, I'm not dependable. And I want your world to fall apart because I'm not dependable. It is a cancer. Cut it out. They are letting you know, they are foreshadowing what is to come if you continue on down this road with this relationship and continue to give them chance after chance after chance. Hope this helps. Let me know what you guys think. Like, follow, and share, and definitely hype this up if you're watching on YouTube. Thanks so much.